Welcome to today's devotion. I want to ask you a question. What happens when you've been knocked down, when you've fallen, when you've experienced defeat? Can you get up? Can you return to where you were before? I want to talk to you about that today. So let's go straight to our devotion. All of us experience defeat at some time or another. All of us make bad decisions at one point in our lives, our Christian lives, our walk with God, and that leads to other things. But do we have to stay down? Do we have to stay defeated? I want you to know you don't have to. You can return to that place of victory and you can see God restore everything that has been stolen from you, taken from you. God will do great and mighty things. That's the wonderful thing about being a Christian. God, when we fail, doesn't just leave us down. He picks us back up and He enables us to go into another victory after another victory. In 1 Samuel chapter 30, it speaks of David. David had been, he had experienced some really tough times with Saul, and he had been depressed and discouraged by all of that, and he made some bad decisions in the midst of that, and it resulted in his hometown and the wives of his men, his own family being taken, and it looked like utter destruction when he returned to Ziklag. But he did one thing during that time, according to 1 Samuel chapter 30. He inquired of the Lord. In other words, when this defeat happened, when it looked like utter despair and no hope, he went before the Lord and he said, God, what do I do? What do I do now? And God gave him instructions. God gave him directions. And do you know what happened? They were able to return and restore everything that had been stolen, and they were able to retrieve their children, their families, their wives, and they were able to bring them back. You see, God gave them victory, but it was because David inquired of the Lord. Now, listen, we will have times of defeat, but when we have those times, we need to learn that we need to seek God. We need to seek His face, and when we seek His face, He will answer us. He will show us the way. He will show us what we ought to do, and He will lead us and guide us. When I first became a Christian, I was so on fire for the Lord, and after about 2 years, I did some things, made some bad decisions, and I began to fail God, and I got to the place where I thought, God can never use me again. But one day, the Lord showed me differently. And he stirred up that fire in my heart, and I began to seek Him. You see, where I began to experience victory in the very beginning was I would seek God. Oh, I had a place that I went and prayed and sought the face of God. And when I started doing that again, God started restoring that victory. I thought I would never be able to be used of God again. But God said, no, I've got a plan for you. I'm going to use you. And He picked me back up, put me on my feet, and He set me forth going in the way that He wanted me to go. And I began to experience victory after victory after victory. So what do you do when you get knocked down? You inquire of the Lord. You look to Him, and He will lift you up.